Welcome, people, to the very first episode of our Rants and Bantz podcast, episode one. Of course, with your host Jesse Nagel. Yeah, to kick things off, but I'm not alone. With two gentlemen to my right, well positioned on the correct flanks as always. We'll start with you, V's. Tell us a bit about yourself. What can the viewers expect from you? Who you are, the team you support, and just yeah, what can the people see from you?
No, thanks so much, Jesse. Thanks. This is so exciting to be on the first ever, Rants and Bands podcast. So I must thank you and Chad, for adding me to the Rants and Bands group. First and foremost, if for those for the viewers that don't know, we are a WhatsApp group that talks about football every single day of the year and always giving it a go. And yeah, with the hottest ticket in town, we should charge people to be in that WhatsApp group, basically. But yeah, so who am I? I'm Vinal Naidu. I'm basically a sports enthusiast. I got a lot of experience in the betting industry, and yeah, tell the truth, which some people don't like it sometimes, and I have my own way of telling the truth. For
Your
example,
version
I've
of the
told the guys to cancel their DSTV subscriptions this year. Yeah, my version of the truth, basically. Yeah, I know some people don't like it, but I've suffered. I'm the biggest Liverpool supporter around. Well, of course, after Mr. Donovan Villa, which many people will meet soon, hopefully. But to what the viewers can expect is, yeah, I tell the truth. My opinions are quite hectic sometimes, but I love the game. That's the most important thing. And as a Liverpool supporter, I always tell people we've suffered through many years. I'm 28 years old now, and I'm finally reaping the rewards of following something, a club for so long. So, and that's the reason I behave in the way that I do, and I hope the viewers understand that. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. If I can give my version of you, it's if confidence was a person,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and authority, because in
Yeah.
fact you are the champion. So we need to treat you in that
Yeah.
manner. But Chad, of course, we can see your name on screen, but there's more to it than that, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm your brother, Jesse, and I am. We both went different parts. You went the red side of London. I went to the blue side of London. Uh, I am a diehard Chelsea fan, and a lot of people used to give me a hard time and say that I was just following Chelsea because of the success and the trophies, but. Actually, I was a Chelsea supporter from '98, before the Roman Abramovich era. So when we were still like an Everton, like just punching above our weight, and just took part in the odd cups. But yeah, my biggest flex is that I have seen my team win every possible trophy that you can, that every competition they've been in. I've seen it all in my generation, which I'm grateful for, and I always love to remind rival supporters of that. Like Vinal, I've got experience in the sports betting industry as a writer, as an editor in chief. I worked as an editor in chief of a soccer newspaper for over a decade, and I'm still in the betting industry. And I'm here to cheer on my team and to have lots of laughter and banter in this group with this podcast. I'm excited to be here, finally.
These I timed that at 3 minutes 45 seconds, and Chad already mentioned the Club World Cup. I'm not sure what you make.
Yeah.
It took him 3 minutes and 45 seconds, and that was including your
I
introduction.
just said
So
I've
in fact,
seen us win everything.
if we had to break it down, it was probably about after 20 seconds, and he already threw the Club World Cup in our face.
You
But
know,
yeah,
you know, as much as we hate to admit, a trophy is a trophy. It is a
of
FIFA competition. You know
Thank
what I'm
you.
trying to say? And
shows the nation.
if nobody knows how the invite list was created, but but
It was draft.
but he went there and he won it. You know what I'm trying to say? Nobody
And,
knows
and
how the invite. Yeah,
and V's against all odds too. No one gave us a chance. No one told us we're winning
exactly.
it.
I
They
mean,
said PSG was
yeah,
going to smoke us in
What
the
gave us a
final, but
chance? It was pre-season.
yeah. And the
anyway,
book, even I
just
mean, if you look at the odds, the odds Chelsea were like 5-1 to win that game. Even the bookmakers gave them no chance,
yeah,
and
nobody
they
gave us
still
a
went
chance.
on, still
But
went and before the tournament they were like 12-1 to win the tournament as well. So yeah,
yeah.
nobody gave them a chance, and they went there and won it. Yeah,
But you know what? That's the Chelsea way, though. But
yeah.
when people write us off, that's when we tend to do it. We saw that at Bayern Munich in the Allianz Arena when we became European champions for the first time in 2012, and then the same thing, but against Manchester City in the Champions League final. No one gave us a chance, and we ended up ousting them and winning the game and our second European Cup. So. That's the Chelsea way. You light us off at your pedal.
The key
No, for
quote
sure.
there: when they write us off, then we become champions, or then we have a point to prove. So I think on that, Chad, what we're going to do here is list our top six, and Chelsea have been written off. Who do you have in sixth spot? Surely not Chelsea. Surely you've got them higher up.
Before that, Jesse, you didn't tell everybody who you are, bro.
Oh yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well,
Yeah,
I do think I do things a bit differently. So
yeah.
let's.
I was just gonna say that blue cap suits you, and then you go in.
I see when you start off with this shade of blue, as you mature and develop into a more primary color, then the truth will reveal itself. Biggest club in London, but we're not here about to get to know Arsenal. It's all about me for now. The next 10 seconds I'll make about myself. So as you know, I support the biggest club in London. Very passionate football supporter, lover of football, lover of champagne football. I love a good look, tactical masterclass is all of like what I'm into, but give me champagne football any day, and that's why I'm in love. That's how I first fell in love with the Arsenal. But yeah, what people can expect from me, what our listeners can expect from me is lots of banter. Definitely some good banter.
Biasness, delusion.
Bias, delusion. Look at I've also like Vinal, I've got my version of the truth as well. And I stick to it, and it's hard to change my mind. But getting in our top six predictions. We'll start with the sixth one. Chad,
Yeah, yeah.
we don't
So
have time for this
it's
fully.
no, you know what? It's quite difficult. I remember on our WhatsApp group we gave in our predictions before a ball was kicked, which is always difficult. You're always going to make a couple of changes as the weeks go, and so far there's been I don't know what your guys' take is, but for me there's been some surprise, a lot of surprises actually, because I would think that like I had United around fifth or sixth, and spoiler alert, United aren't in my top six. Yeah, so
Wow.
I'm actually undecided between Newcastle and Aston Villa. And I think that I'm going to have Aston Villa in because of Newcastle losing Isak.
Wow. Yeah, so look, I've got Newcastle there as well. I will get to Visa's prediction in a minute, but I think Newcastle, you kind of see it with these smaller teams. Like you look at Bournemouth, for example, they've lost a whole host of players, but I mean the way they've started off the season, losing not only to Liverpool, you could argue that game could have gone either way. The way they beat Tottenham, the way they've beaten Wolves, and that's a team that's lost their core. You saw Brentford pick up an important home victory as well. They've lost the entire squad. So teams like that, it's giving me confidence to back Newcastle. And I've also got them for sixth. Bees, where do you have Newcastle? Or in fact, who's in your sixth spot?
My sixth spot, I think I'm gonna. At the beginning of this season, I mean, I said Spurs would be in the sixth spot, to be honest. But after seeing them play, I know I pushed them up to fourth now, So I would definitely push one or two teams down. I say Nottingham Forest still a good sixth place
So
finish. Yeah, I still feel confident that Nottingham will finish in the top six this season because their home
where does
form
that
is always
confidence come
strong.
from? I was just about
Say
to
that
ask, where
again.
does that confidence come from? No, I was just about to ask, where does that confidence come from? But you've touched on their home form. And I think for that reason is why I've gone with Newcastle, is because that St. James's, that fiery cauldron that they turn that place into is quite exciting. And that's if the bigger teams in the league could have that same home ground fortress like that Anfield does with Liverpool, then I mean the distance between the top four and the rest of the league would be enormous.
So no, I just think that it was hard. I know they have some issues with the manager currently and the coach, but I still think that what they did at their home ground last season was just something. Or I'm surprised no more clubs went hunting in their in to take players from their team. I mean, and they were brilliant. They did everything properly, and I think once I know they started a bit topsy turvy, but once they get their heads down again, they definitely gonna be a team that that you that are gonna be very difficult to beat, especially at home. And I remember last season, this time after the international break, they beat Liverpool. I mean, they're the only team that got 4 points from us last season. They beat us and they drew with us. So it's the only team we couldn't beat last year as well. So well, and of course,
Well,
and Arsenal,
you
I
didn't
think,
beat
but
Arsenal, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, so, but we beat them this year. So, as I said, a six spot, I'm confident that they're gonna do enough to get into the European places and be there, basically. Yeah.
Chad,
Even
you,
though
I
they
would
lost,
be,
even though
you
I
gave
would
some
be a little
doubts.
bit surprised if they do. Sorry,
yeah,
I just think that I fully agree with
yeah,
everything V said in terms of the quality that they have, but I just feel,
yeah,
I just there's the sense of second season syndrome, and they've lost Elanga.
yeah.
Who was the key player who was linked with the move to Spurs? His move didn't happen. Can he? Can he's can he bounce back from that? Is he going to be disappointed? Is it disappointed? Is it going to affect his game? So I understand it, but for me, I think Forrest could drop.
I got you.
So Chad, you mentioned. Sorry, Viz, go.
No, no, I just wanted to say on that point, why didn't anybody go shopping for Murillo? He,
I think that that Greek owner is not the easiest person to negotiate with. So after Tottenham
yeah,
tied with Morgan Gibbs White, I think Murillo became
That's the
a
player.
non-negotiable. So yeah,
I see. I mean, I
Chad,
wouldn't have minded him, yeah. But no, sorry.
so
Let me not go off topic
Yeah,
here,
well, yeah, you didn't get anyone at centre back, so we'll touch on that later. Chad, you gave some uncertainty as to Newcastle in that sixth position, and you said it was a toss-up between Aston Villa. Is that your fifth and sixth, or was
No.
that your sixth and seventh?
That was my sixth and seventh.
Okay.
I just I couldn't,
Who do you have
it's
as-
a fight between those two. But are you asking who I have in fifth?
Yeah.
So who I have in fifth place is Spurs. Been very impressed with Spurs. I've always rated Thomas Frank as a manager, and I think I just didn't expect to see such an immediate impact. Like just from the get go, he's you can just see the style and the style of the team is changing, and the players look like they are playing with more freedom, and they have more license. The attacking players have more license and to do what they're capable of doing. Like they've also spent well. They brought in some top players like Mohamed Kudus, and Richarlison looks like a player who's who's reborn under Thomas Frank. So
well, what happens to him now because they've got Kolo Muani? So what happens to Richarlison?
Well, I mean that's he has to. If Richarlison, in my opinion, keeps playing the way he's playing, which is showing so much confidence. In fact, you'd probably say that he's in line to win Player of the Month. He's been that good.
Whoa, Chad.
Arguably.
What's going on?
Right. Well, I mean, he's been like, okay, Spurs lost the game, so that kind of.
Has Calafiori been playing golf or paddle?
Look, I just think it's a good situation for a manager to have two quality forwards, and and they have to compete now and fight to make that position theirs. And I think it's a nice it's a nice position to be in for a manager, and I think that it would benefit Spurs as a team. And I think there's also European competitions. There's enough game time to keep both forwards happy. So I think Spurs, for sure, I think they get into the top 5, and I have them in 5th place.
Please, feel like you've got a different answer to that.
I think City will finish 5th this season.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow. Yeah, you gotta.
I think City. I think they've started the season very poorly. I think that I know they normally kick into gear after game week 22, and they don't lose any other game after I think after the New Year's Eve parties and everything, they normally say, "Hey, New Year, new me. It's time to play football now." And I think that this season, I know sometimes we always jump the gun too early. I mean, but when do you ever see City playing so badly so early in the season? I mean, against Spurs, as much as Spurs were good, they were terrible, guys. They didn't look like they knew, what they were doing on that pitch. There was no movement, whatever. Spurs literally just set up with their to one line of 4, one line of 5, and they said, "Come, you think you're good? Come play through us." You know what I'm trying to say? And they couldn't do anything, So, and then we saw again this weekend against Brighton. You're winning 1-0 against Brighton, and you go and concede 2 goals in the last 25 minutes of the game to lose the game. So maybe and Donnarumma going to change that? Well, yes, he's a strong goalkeeper, etc., but yeah, I still think that once they're gonna jump on the train a bit too late and get going, because Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea, really, it's gonna be a toss-up to get into 4th and 5th between Spurs and City. But I still have Spurs at this current point of the season. Spurs just ahead of them, Spurs just slightly ahead of them.
It's so hard to disagree with you there, because Man City, they do tend to kick on quite late in the season, but I think Newcastle have showed that last season. I think Aston Villa the season before, that when you have a good run towards the end of the season, you can make up a lot of places. And Newcastle, I think, were out of the top 4 race, and then at one point they could have finished above Arsenal in 2nd. So I think towards the latter stages, teams tend to drop off. I don't think the top 4 is as good as what the top 4 seem to be by the football world. So maybe a good run gets them there. I've my 5th spot. I've actually got, close your ears, Chad. I've got Chelsea. I've got Chelsea in my 5th spot, and I'll say why. Firstly, it's their depth this season. I think there's an excellent 11, but I think beyond that, it doesn't really get me off my feet. I looked at, was it the weekend's game or past couple of weeks when Palmer was missing, and I just thought that this team is too reliant on João Pedro, and it's too early for that to happen. If that was happening perhaps later on in the season and you've got your star player taking games by the scruff of the neck, but if it's happening in his first 2 or 3 professional games, barring the Club World Cup, then for me that's a warning sign. And I think they're 1 or 2 injuries away from a crisis. I think defensively they haven't looked great. The 2 clean sheets that they do have, the ref has intervened on both occasions with the Eze free kick and the Fulham disallowed goal. So you can say they've got 2 clean sheets in 3 games, which looks good on paper. But I think there's just more to it than that. And in fact, the team I've got above them is probably going to shock you more. But I've got Chelsea at 5th.
Okay, interesting to me.
Yeah, let's get to that top 4. V's, we'll go back to you because you and I both have a different top 4 to last season because you've got Man City at 5th, which means the top 4 would definitely change for you. I've got Chelsea at 5th, which means the top 4 is definitely going to change.
You want me to list all my top 4? Or the 4th place? I got Spurs on top 4. I got Spurs in 4th. I think they'll do enough. As I've expressed my feelings a lot over the past few weeks about my love for Mohamed Kudus. I think he would have been a brilliant Salah replacement if Salah didn't sign the new contract. So I do believe that Tottenham buying him, and of course Simmons from Leverkusen. Signed from Leverkusen. from Leverkusen, right? He signed from Leverkusen, correct? He was playing for Leverkusen. Leipzig. Sorry. Okay. But I know him as the midfielder that changed the game for Netherlands. That's how we know. We don't follow. Of course, we don't follow the German Bundesliga and everything, or we don't watch it as closely as we watch the other leagues like La Liga and Serie A. But we watch the big games. But in terms of that guy, especially, we've seen what he's done for the Netherlands. I think he's brilliant. And yeah, with him, with Kudus on the right, with the reborn Richarlison, based on what we've seen thus far. But that guy is like the weather in saying that, after this international break, you might be cold again, So it all depends. He looks like a very emotional player. When his head is right, he's playing well. When he's not when there's issues in his mind, he may just disappear again, and you may see him in December again, but he'll be on the pitch, but you just won't see him. If you guys understand what I'm trying to say, he has that ability to appear and disappear sometimes. But based on what we've seen so far, I think maybe Thomas Frank has got something new out of him, and yeah, we look forward to. And Spurs defend. So when Spurs are defending recently, they really look like they can defend, as opposed to last season where I thought that the 3 of us could go probably score against their defenders. But they really are. It really does show that they can properly defend this season in the games that we've seen so far. Yes, they're always going to lose that one game against Bournemouth, as we saw recently. But they're always they have that one mistake, 1 or 2 mistakes in their armory. But overall, they do look quite a good team this season. Thomas Frank is a genius.
Chad?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said about Spurs, and they are definitely moving in the right direction as a club. Perfect appointments of a manager. But I have them for 5th, like I mentioned before. My 4th place is Manchester City. And I just feel like, you just can't write the club off, especially
I feel like you are, though.
Well, I think leaving them out of a top 4 would be writing them off. I mean, let me just say that. Yeah, well, let me just say that you also cannot write them off out of the title, because we've seen this before with City, haven't we? We've seen the slow start where they've given others a chance, and they've come back and won the Premier League. So it wouldn't be so far-fetched to still see Manchester City challenge for the title. But I don't see it because I have to go by the signs of what I'm seeing now. I can't just predict something where there aren't any signs to show for it. But I just think that with a manager like Pep Guardiola, that winning DNA that's instilled in the team, they have the pedigree. most of their players have been there and won it all. And so they know what it feels like. And I think after last season, they'd be hungry for success. I just think that they've made too many changes in their squad. It's kind of like a transitional period for City. I don't think this is the end of I don't think it's like a fall of City where they, like go through what Chelsea went through, what Manchester United went through.
Or the end of Pep.
Well, could be the end of Pep, but I still think that the team's set up very nicely. You've got Erling Haaland, who's one of the best strikers in the world, and I just feel like, with the quality that they have, I still think they're good enough to at least get top 4, and I have them in 4th place.
Oh. Well, I did mention that my team that I've got in 4th place will surprise many people who know me personally. Would know that this is. It's tough for me to get out, but Tottenham, but Tottenham at 4th. So agreeing
I
with
thought you were going to say Man United.
Yeah. We're not talking about 15th and 16th yet, Chad. We're not talking about the.
Not to the show. Let's say this is a top 6 discussion. So that one's on you.
Yeah.
But I've got Tottenham. I think. But a lot of the points that Vinal mentioned, I don't want to repeat it, but in fact, it's not even going to sound right coming from my voice. But yeah, they are good, and it's strange, or in fact, it's funny how quickly a coach can make such an instant impact, and it makes you wonder that if another team changes their coach, how quickly they could improve. But it looks like 15th is going to happen again. But I've got Tottenham for 4th, and that's it. I think they're not the highest London finishers, I'll tell you that, but I do have them as 4th.
Okay.
But yeah, now that that's out the way, Chad.
Top 3, 3rd place.
That spot, who gets bronze?
Yeah, for me it's Chelsea, and this may appear unpopular, but I think we are a lot closer to, don't get me wrong, still off the pace of what's needed to be a title challenger. But I think we've moved a lot closer to Liverpool and Arsenal this season. I think we've made progress. I think that the Club World Cup has turned out to be a blessing for us because I think Chelsea have leveled up from that. And regardless of what people feel about the competition, it's given us a world of confidence. And I think we've seen it in certain players like João Pedro. I don't think anybody knew he was this good. And I think that there's players who have just leveled up. Like, there's just certain players that need the move to elevate themselves and to just establish themselves as like a real world-class player. And I think I'm not ready to call João Pedro world-class yet, but I think he's definitely moving in that direction. And I just think when you look at, I know there's a lot that you said about Chelsea's defense and are there question marks? Sure, there's question marks, but I think that there were question marks last season, and look at how many clean sheets and our goal difference of last season. I still think that we may not have the best defenders individually in personnel, but I think we make up for it as a team together. There's some grit. There's some like the boys really fight for Enzo Maresca, and this is what's got me excited about Chelsea again, because I haven't seen this in the longest time. So I just also think that we've upgraded our attack from Jackson and I think it was only Jackson and Guy last season, and I think that we are so much stronger. Delap's going to come back, and I like Esteban. I'm really excited about him, and even Garnacho, who for me is better than Sancho. So I think that I think we're making progress. I think Chelsea's attack, we can always outscore teams, and I think that you'll see that we'll be a lot closer to the top 2 than many people would have thought.
Because obviously Chelsea, their spending has been quite vocalized, and in fact it's there for everyone to see whether you speak about it or not. Is there pressure on Maresca to close that gap, like you say, but almost continue that success of the Club World Cup.
I think the pressure will always be there when you're at a club like Chelsea, regardless of of what's expected of you, your season objectives. I know that according to the most reliable reports from papers like the Telegraph and the Athletic, Chelsea's objectives is to make top four again, but also close that gap between the top two. I think that's achievable, but I think there'll still be winning a trophy, or at least progressing far in the Champions League. We want to see progress. We don't want to see the exact same thing of last season, because that's just kind of staying in that place. We want to see some distance closed between ourselves and the top two, and maybe a nice showing in the UEFA Champions League.
100%.
Yeah, Viz, before we get your third spot, I'll just share mine, because I mean, it's up for me. It feels disrespectful not to touch on him. I've seen my team fall short to them so many times. Second again, ole. That's actually comes from finishing behind Manchester City. So I've got them as third place again. So to third spots again, ole. Hopefully they get a song as well. But yeah, I think there will be a drop off, but not as significant to the point where they're scrambling for fourth spots on the final day. But Viz, your third spot.
No, I'm in total agreement with Chad and his Chelsea pick there. I've also got them for third. But based on what I've seen this season, it's I think they can put together a good run and challenge the champions, of course. But I based on what I've seen so far, and at the end of the day, there's two undefeated teams in the league, I'm sure now. One of them is Chelsea, one of them is Liverpool. Am I wrong?
I think the third is Palace. Yeah.
No,
third is just.
Oh no, we didn't be true with them. Yeah. No, they lost.
Yeah, so
did they lose?
Yeah, Crystal Palace is they're the third unbeaten team in the league. Correct. 2 draws and a win. Yeah, but they don't really count. But anyway, so yeah, Mark, no shame. Crystal Palace is a brilliant team. I'm just joking. Mark, he is brilliant.
Sorry, Viz. Do you know what I'm annoyed about? Most of my rivals are going to play Crystal Palace without Eze.
Yeah.
And we got and you're probably going to beat Palace, and you made such a difference for them. So we
100%. Yeah, remember,
most of our rivals will have Saka for, and the one game, the most important one, we didn't have him. So if anyone should be upset, it's me.
Yeah, no, for the viewers that don't know, on our WhatsApp group, we all said that against Chelsea it was Chelsea against Eze. That's how we made that first match of the season for the Chelsea, and we did say that Eze is going to be a big factor in determining the result. And technically, or whichever way you look at it, he did put the ball into the back of the net. Unfortunately, it was disallowed. But
I don't know why they're changing the rules. I'm sure that'll be another topic.
Yeah, that'll be another topic later on. There is too many rules.
Yeah.
No, 100%. I don't think people even know the rules to discuss the rules. No, but again, for me, Chelsea for third. I think they'll do well this season. They might creep into second, depending how Arsenal play, which of course is my second pick as well. But I do think that they can go close. They can go challenge the top. They can challenge the second spot this season. I do think so.
I think let's actually get into it, because barring a miracle, we've all got 2 teams that we haven't mentioned yet, and whatever order you've got them in fact, if they're not part of your top 2, then which Premier League are you talking about that it is that you're tuning into every Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah.
But Bees, you've already touched on it. You've got your Premier League champions to claim it again, to do it again back to back. Liverpool, you've got Arsenal to finish second. By the sounds of it, it's a second and a half, closer to third than it is to the top. But yeah, Chad, how do you see the Premier League ending? Who's on top in May? Who's second?
Yeah, look, this was always going to be a difficult one. I rate both of these teams very highly. And, normally when you come closer and closer and closer, like Arsenal have, I normally tend to back the team. Like there's, like you go, like it's bound to happen. You're gonna, but the transfer window has, is such a key part of improving a team. I mean, if there was no transfer window, we wouldn't even been talking about Spurs being in our top 4, top 5. That's because of how much they've improved their squad in the top 4. So going back to the Arsenal and Liverpool teams, who have both strengthened very well. I think both have done superb business. I just feel that Liverpool getting Isak is the game changer. Because unlike Gyökeres, who I rate very highly, I think he's world class. I think he has to adapt to the Premier League, and Liverpool have an advantage where we see Ekitike adapting so quickly, and we know that Isak, he's already tried and tested that. Like, they don't even need to see how he fits in. In fact, he fits in like a glove. So it's actually scary times if you're rivals of Liverpool, because their squad is so complete that arguably complete. I mean, if you're going to add, you probably strengthened with the defender. But the club is the squad is so complete that would it really shock you to see them like canter again as we witnessed last season? So, I mean, those are like questions to be asked. I just think Liverpool too good once again, and they go on to successfully defend the Premier League for the first time in Premier League era.
Okay,
it's summer now, spring now. Jesse, it's no longer cold. Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Premier League champions, 26.
Okay, is that your heart? Okay, let me ask: is that your heart or your honest?
Look, let me break it down, and I'll tell you why Arsenal win the league, and I think we'll do it more convincingly than what's actually anticipated. So having a fully fit team it's easier to have an unfit team, because if you think you're going to go a season free without any injuries, that doesn't happen in football, and there isn't enough data or evidence to suggest that could happen. Liverpool had it once last season, and the 4 seasons before that, they didn't happen, and they were in the positions they were because of that. Arsenal had a fully fit season, a fully fit team for the entire season for 2 years in a row, finished second, lost on the final day. The one season we didn't, there was a huge drop-off, and people questioned how good we really are, i.e. Chad. But to think that isn't going to happen at all for Liverpool is so far-fetched and so unrealistic that it's actually crazy, because what Arsenal have done now, and I've been very vocal about it in our WhatsApp groups, and to anyone who's really had a conversation, a football conversation with me, there's no room for excuses now. Arsenal have 2 good players at minimum, and I say at minimum because some positions have 3, where there's 2 good players who could play at the highest level, Premier League or Champions League, away at any ground, and there isn't a huge drop-off in quality. I think we saw that quite evidently when Mosquera came on for William Saliba. Me as an Arsenal supporter, I genuinely didn't panic when Saliba went off in the 3rd minute, and that's away to the champions of England and the toughest grounds to go to in world football. In terms of a battle between Liverpool, and yes, Arsenal lost that game, but it was a moment of brilliance. And before that and after that, one moment of brilliance that doesn't happen very often as well. Once again, that's a once-in-a-lifetime shot at goal that I think Soboslai just puts his foot through it without aiming, and he lets the wind decide where it goes. So there was a lot.
How can you say that?
Beautiful strike.
It was a beautiful strike, and that's not taking anything away from it. But if you know how to hit a knuckleball, you don't aim for a corner. You just you put your foot through it, and you let the wind decide where the ball goes. But look, that's not taking anything away from Liverpool or who they are and what they represent. They have what we want, and that's a gold badge on their sleeve. I just think that there isn't enough strength in depth. And like I said with Chelsea, there's a brilliant 11 there. I look at that team and I see a brilliant 11. But beyond that, nothing really gets me off my feet, or nothing really moves me. Like, I think Rio's a talented youngster. Are we even allowed to discuss him? He's a minor. He's what, like 14, 15 years old. He can't be.
You're welcome, Viz. You're welcome, Queen.
No, thank you very much, guys. Thanks, Chelsea. Yeah.
And look, Dominic Soboslai had a world-class game at right back, but he cannot be the next choice after Frimpong. So there's a lot of factors that go into it, and I've got Arsenal to win the league quite convincingly. I also think, and I'm going on.
You're going to be so disappointed.
No, and I'm quite passionate about this because I think Liverpool winning last weekend was the best thing to ever happen to Arsenal, and I think not the worst thing in the world to happen to Liverpool, but I think it does put more eyes on them because it now puts all the pressure on them. If Arsenal went there the way they did, the minute they shut Liverpool down, if that game had to end as a draw, there would be more expectation of Arsenal winning the league than Liverpool. And yeah, I think that's time will tell, obviously, but this is why we're here to predict the game of football.
Yeah, I mean, good points. I mean, I understand them, even from V's as well. I think the only real one I would disagree with you on is Chelsea. Maybe a little biased there, but what you said actually got me thinking. Do you know when you said when Saliba went off in the 3rd minute, how you had no concerns, no worries? Do you know that's how I felt when Palmer got injured in the warm-up against West Ham, and I wouldn't have felt that way regardless of who we played last season. We could have been playing a team that's in relegation like Manchester United, and if Palmer wasn't playing, then then I would have been like the world ended. But that's why I feel so strongly that we are to leave us out of the top 4 is just ridiculous. But yeah, I think that's part of the Bantz in this podcast.
Yeah. Gentlemen, I think before we wrap, I just want to ask one question. And I know this isn't planned, and we didn't really just kind of want to spring it on you. If you can give the listeners one outlandish prediction for the season, what an unpopular opinion of yours that. And look, Man United, please, we know what you're thinking. Man United to finish in the bottom.
No.
Not
before that, Jess, you never let me tell the viewers when Liverpool is going to win the league. I told you, Valentine's Day. You don't give me. Liverpool will win the league before Valentine's Day or the weekend. Let me just check my calendar. February 2026. The weekend of Valentine's Day is a Saturday, so on that weekend, Liverpool will win the league. I just want to say that because, yeah.
There's a reason we moved on quite quickly.
No, you didn't give me the chance. All I'm trying to say, you only heard my predictions. You only heard my predictions while I was talking about the other teams. All I'm trying to say is that we broke the British transfer record twice in one window. If we don't win the league, it is an upset. It is a complete upset. I will be disappointed. There's no hiding from that fact. If we don't win the league, it is. Yeah. If we don't win the league, it is completely everyone's failed. Simple as that. And there's something I wanted. You touched on injuries. Liverpool were lucky, etc. So we don't give the background stuff which we need to have another segment in the show later on. Uh, enough credit. Arne Slot brought a guy called Ruben Peters from Feyenoord to Liverpool. That
Ruben
guy's
Amorim.
job is Ruben Peters. That guy's job is the position of lead and is a physical performance coach. He is one of the main reasons why all our players were fit 90% of the time last season. And
Yeah.
we need to respect him in this whole Arne Slot era in terms of the type of fitness and stuff he brought into the team, because under Klopp, as great as he was, we were getting injured every week. Those were training too hard. You know what I'm trying to say? Where this guy's leader, the intensity was too much. Where this guy looks like, we need to give the background staff credit as well. That's how I know we'll be safe this season. Touch wood. But no, back to your outlandish part.
This is why Jesse didn't want you to talk, because you went on about
No, we have to give those credit.
So Jesse, before we wrap up, you asked us a question. Let me just tell you now. Flop of the signing, Florian Wirtz.
Is that your outlandish prediction?
Yes, that's my outlandish prediction. Not that I don't rate him as a player, I do, but I think the price tag is going to bring him down.
Fees?
Outlandish. Hey, I think
Wild.
United. United, as I said,
Man United not. Man United to finish in the bottom half is not outlandish.
Oh, okay, outlandish. I said what I think. I like to talk about my own team. I like to talk about my own team. I like to think that they will go win the season, and I think saying that they're going to win the season. But I know unbeaten is tough, because no, I can't say unbeaten, because after we win the league, it's party time. Yeah, after we win the league, it's party time. The guys are not concentrated. We're trying to put together a Champions League run. Yeah, it's hard. You try to put together a Champions League run. It's very hard to go unbeaten, especially with to control people's minds after you're already a winner is extremely difficult in the Premier League. So you need like extreme discipline, which people lack nowadays. And no matter what thing, you need to we won the league, but instead of jumping up and down, you need to be like calm. No, we still need to win the next game. It's very hard. If we were in a position, we've only won the league twice in the past 5 years, but to do it again now, it still means a lot to us.
You don't have to limit it to 5 years. I don't think it's 2 in 5 years. I think it's 2 in 32. But
no. I wasn't alive 32. Yeah. Yeah, but no, just like the outlandish thing, it's hard. I have to say it. I think that Man United are in trouble again this season, and they need some help. Yeah.
I think we need our own podcast just to discuss Ruben Amorim. But
I think that they're in big trouble this year. But in saying that, I do believe that Gyökeres to score under 15 goals this season can be a bit outlandish as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up, because that's my outlandish take. And I know this is going to seem unpopular despite him being 2 ahead now. But I think Gyökeres will be the highest scoring Swedishman. Basically to outscore Isak. Victor Gyökeres to outscore Alexander Isak. Bare-boned.
How do they start for Sweden? Do they both play for Sweden?
4-4-2, I think.
Yeah.
They go 4-4-2.
Yeah, Isak's off the shoulder and Gyökeres scores the goals.
Okay. I'd like to watch them this week.
I'd like to close with the song.
Yeah.
He comes from Sweden. The girls are very nice. Well, I forgot the rest of the lyrics. Yes, he comes
Get off not singing that.
Yeah.
Comes from Sweden. The girls are very nice. He left his girlfriend to play in red and white. He's scoring goals with the cannon on his chest. His name is Victor. Victor Jokeres. Gentlemen, that's all we've got time for. It's been such a pleasure. Episode 1, closing out with the bang from myself, Jesse Nagel, Chad Nagel, Vinal Naidu. Gentlemen, look forward to the next one.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks so much, guys. All right.